Shalom. This week we read Parashat Korach. We read all about Korach. It's an amazing and dramatic story of the man who challenged Moshe's leadership. According to our sages, Korach was not just anyone. He wasn't just a rabble-rouser. He was a great scholar, and he was altogether brilliant. He was a Levite like Moshe, and he was among those whose assignment was no less than the transport and handling of the Ark of the Covenant. That's dedication and close proximity to holiness. He was also gifted with great communication and social skills. He was an accomplished orator, yet he became, in a way, the ultimate demagogue. Demagogue meaning, according to definition, a political leader who seeks support by appealing to popular desires and prejudices rather than using rational arguments, a rabble-rouser, an agitator, a fomenter. So this is precisely what Korach became, and he used his charm, his knowledge, his personal station to wield influence on others and to attempt to drive a wedge between the people and Moshe. And he temporarily succeeded in challenging Moshe's character and even his sincerity and even Moshe's motive. How could anyone have fallen for that? After all, the Torah itself testifies to Moshe's total nullification of self, his total dedication to his people, as recently as in Parashat Korach, where God himself states that Moshe was the humblest man upon the face of the earth. And what about after the debacle of the golden calf, when God was ready to destroy Israel and Moshe said, "Erase my name from your book," because he just couldn't live without giving his life for the people of Israel? And then again, just last week, after the sin of the spies, when Moshe prays for their forgiveness and his prayers accepted. The thing is, there is a lot more to this story than meets the eye. Our tradition records that Korach wasn't only challenging Moshe's leadership, he challenged his divine authority as being directed by God. He actually challenged Moshe's character and sincerity, and ultimately Korach challenged the divinity of the Torah, and finally the existence of God himself. This wasn't about Korach versus Moshe. This was actually about Korach versus Hashem, the God of Israel, and God having created the world in the first place. And so the story itself, and especially the behind the scenes of how he issued this challenge and the incredible description of the showdown and the device and vehicle that Korach chose to issue this challenge, that's all quite fascinating. But at the moment, I prefer to dwell on the peccadillos as well as the intolerable offenses of his personality. What is with this guy? How does a Levite, an original, who carries the ark, knowledgeable, well-groomed, start up with Moshe and ultimately reject God and even deny that God created the world in the first place? Our sages teach that it all started and finished on account of one thing, that Korach was full of himself. Everything was always about him. And in this regard, he was actually the very opposite of Moshe. He had one eye in the mirror as he watched himself go by. You know what the song that's from? He was intensely aware of his lineage and also had a vision of great descendants emerging from his line. In short, he felt that he should be the one, or if you prefer the Lego movie, the special. Moshe never wanted to be the one. Moshe never thought that he was anything special, but Korach thought that everything would be very awesome if he was the head of the team. Sometimes we meet people who are very active for change, who are constantly trying to make things better, who have good questions, who have answers. But on the surface, everything seems positive enough, but closer examination reveals that there exists a certain pattern. Someone pushes an agenda to a fault to the extent that it's my way or no other way, you can sense that it's no longer the issue where the cause that matters as much as it's being my issue, my honor, my name, my way, it becomes all-consuming and eventually destroys and swallows one up like the earth that swallowed up Korach. Because what he was basically saying was that you should all believe in me, and ultimately believe only in me. And if you believe in me, you can't also believe in God. When someone's agenda overtakes one and outshines everything else in sight, it can even outshine God. So how could Korach, a distinguished, pedigreed Levite, a carrier of the ark, deny God? Because Korach reduced his ultimate challenge to Israel to a simple equation. If you believe in me, you can't believe in God. There is no Torah, no Moshe who took us out of Egypt and ascended Mount Sinai and received the Torah. There is no God altogether who created the world. There's only me. And one of the major lessons of Korach is to be careful of people who push their own agenda and make everything else, even a good cause, all about them.